Alright guys, this is going to be a quick little video, so bear with me. Once upon a time, wrestling was great. So, I want to talk about this. So, I think I talked about this years ago, but this is going to be another video. It's going to be a quick one. I used to be a faithful watcher of wrestling. So, I'll tell you the story, and then I'll tell you why I got out of wrestling. And I can tell you the date of when I got it. It was 2014, but I can tell you. Was it 2014? It was 2014. Yes, it was. And I'll tell you the date about it. Just give you bear with me. So I got into wrestling very late, so I missed the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars. I missed it. I know my cousin kept telling me, "Yo, you didn't watch it." I'm like, "What the hell?" I got into it late. I got into the Ruthless Aggression Era, which now a lot of people are looking at fondly at that era, saying, "Oh my God, this actually was a pretty good era." It really was. I think that era, which if you see in the background, you have in that era was Hogan versus Randy and Orton RKO, in which Randy should have won that match anyway. But whatever, Hogan was on his bullshit, and I didn't give a fuck. I never liked Hogan anyway. Never was a fan of him. The NWO version, I saw a couple videos of him in that, and I thought he was okay. But I thought Hogan as a babyface sucked. But I got into wrestling. I still watch it to that. I keep up with it, but I don't watch it. I do not watch Monday Night Raw. I don't watch SmackDown and AEW. I tried to get into it, and I did like it for a quick minute. The problem with AEW is there's not no characters. And I could talk all day about AEW problems, but we'll add a little bit into it because I'll talk about why Once Upon a Time wrestling was great. The problem with AEW is spot after spot after spot. There's no characters. The only character they have is MJF, and he's been the most impressive character because his character has been the same, but his character has been consistently good. And the people he's feuded with the Punks and the Bryans and the John Moxley, it's kind of worked. Another problem with AEW, and I'm about to get into with UC Goldberg, and then when he was in WCW, their roster's bloated. They have so many talented people on that roster, you barely see them. I'm a huge fan of people like Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't see him. Granted, they finally booked him, but they weren't booking him for a minute from what I remembered. So it is what it is. So wrestling used to be good. But the problem with AEW, they focus too much on wrestling, but not enough story. Granted, I've heard WWE doing the Bloodline story, but that's it. That's the only thing they had. Which I'm about to get into why I say wrestling was good back in the day. You can look, watch Attitude. You know what? I'm going to stop using the Attitude Era because that's an old trope, and I'm not going to do it. We'll use the Ruthless Aggression Era because that's the one I finally remember. And that's the one I think we can go from 05 to here, and we could go there. Like right now, what WrestleMania is, 39, and we're going to Hollywood. So let's go back to WrestleMania 31. You had the storyline of John Cena and Batista going on. 2 stars rising to the occasion. Batista breaking out Evolution, one of the best build storylines into WrestleMania history, is up there with The Rock and Austin. Batista had one of the best storylines. Batista can go down and say, I had one of the best storylines, and he did. Cena, with his rise too. The match between Kurt Angle, and Shawn Michaels was greatly billed. The Money in Bank build for the first one wasn't good. Now that match, on the other hand, is fucking phenomenal. One of the best ladder matches of all time. I kid you not, is up there with the first, the TLC with Hardys. It's really damn good. And those elements of Edge, Shelton Benjamin, Benoit, Kane, Jericho, and I'm missing somebody. I think that's everybody. And Christian. It all blend in very well together. And then you had Undertaker versus Randy, Legend Killer versus Shrinking Away. Great build to that. Great storyline. And another great match. You look at stuff like that, and that's what wrestling was all about. And that's what wrestling should be about. But we didn't get that. And we don't get that today. We get some storylines here and there. The Bloodline has actually expanded to 2 storylines, which is great. And I think as a writer and as a booker, you look at it, that's great. We have 2 storylines. You have the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. Now you got that storyline built into the Bloodline. Then you got Roman and Cody Rhodes. So you got kind of like 2 storylines right there. Other than that, that's it. John Cena versus Austin Theory. John Cena made 1 damn appearance on the show, and we haven't seen him since. What did I tell you? And I looked, and then you have the other championship matches, and it just is not. Wrestling used to be good of building and anticipation and matches, and the wrestling was 10 times better then too, because the wrestlers told a story. They weren't trying to do a spot, because they were told, hey, look, less is more. Again, Jim Cornette knows what he's talking about. It's just all the spot fest is not necessary in today's wrestling. Is it bad? No, but it's not necessary. I love Kenny Omega, but I think Kenny Omega, the reason that he's having problems with his body today is because he did all those spots. He doesn't need to do it. He's realizing now to dial it back, but you're fucking 40 now. It's too late. Your body's going to break down by 45. I mean, but the matches he had with Okada are still legendary because they haven't been matches that can top those. And I'm not going by Dave Meltzer's star rating. Those are very good story build matches for modern day. Is it on the level of Austin and The Rock? On a match quality, no. On a storyline purposes, no. I mean, because Kenny Omega match quality is 10 times better than that, but on a storyline, no. Which one I'll be more entertained by? A Rock and Austin match. And then you look at Batista and Triple H feud, I'll be entertained by that because there was a storyline built into it. Batista broke from Evolution. The problem with a lot of fans are having today, there's not storylines like that. We don't have a lot of storylines. And the era of wrestling is over. People don't want that no more. They want storylines. They want characters. And they always will revert back to that. That's where the sports entertainment aspect comes in handy. AEW doesn't have that. And their niche audiences, that's all they want. And that's all they're going to get. And the thing that AEW should have capitalized on when they first came out is give us good characters and good storylines. And they are not relegated to the PG rating. They are relegated to a TV-14, but they don't use it. And that's the problem. They don't use it correctly. Excuse me. They don't use it correctly. And it's a telling tale because their products suck. You got a guy like Jon Moxley who bleeds every fucking... I don't want to see that. If it doesn't pertain to a story, I have yet seen somebody, and I'm still waiting for this on AEW, a beatdown massacre. And what I mean by this, remember when Triple H and Evolution kicked Randy Orton out? They beat the hell out of him, bloodied him. I want to see that. I don't get that on AEW. That's good to see. You would think Jericho would have done some bullshit like that. He hasn't. And he's been in the company. And people are like, wow, we don't want to do that. That's draw interest. That's when it becomes a blood feud. That makes me invested to see something. When Moxley bleed, that doesn't make me invested to bleed something. It's just Moxley bleeding again. If I can see him not bleed for 3 months, I'll be surprised. But it takes away because when you get blood here, then you get blood in another match. And if you're going to have blood matches, you should have one guy open the show with blood and the other one end it. Have it separated, not back to back. Not like 1 minute here, they have another one back to back. No, have it separated. It's called booking, and you just always have a good opener. And again, I'm surprised some of the wrestlers will come in and say, I'll open the match. But it's Tony Khan's booking. So, there's a whole lot of things. You look at Goldberg, character, huge star. WWE came close with that with Ryback. Failed miserably. You look at Rock and Austin. There have not been two characters on that level since. Some would say Cena and Batista, but I mean, I'll say Cena was the closest to The Rock, but no. But I will say the company put their chips on 4 stars. It was John, Batista, Edge, and Orton. And they capitalized on it. And they were the future for the company for the longest period of time. And it made the company money. Cena definitely made the company more money than I would ever thought in those damn merchandise sales. Punk did too. But yeah. I don't even think I told you the story. I'm doing this long video. So if you made this part, I thank you and applaud you. But yeah, so I watched wrestling from, and I'm wrapping this video up from 2000, I believe, 3 to about 2014. So that's almost close to about 8 years. Or say 3. Okay, excuse me. 12 years, I believe. Sorry, I said 8 years. I'm sorry, I'm tired. So about 12 years. So I've been watching the company. So I'll watch the company for a while. Yeah, I remember to this day. This is when they were still doing the authority angle, and it was Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Jericho was somewhere. Some reason Jericho was somewhere, and it was to a 6-man. But it took them about 30 minutes, a promo for 30 minutes to announce a 6-man tag team match. It was the most boring shit ever. And mind you, this is when they heavily were PG. Heavily. And I was like, I just dropped it. And I wasn't a fan of Roman Reigns at the time, I believe. Jericho, I just didn't care to what Jericho was doing with a shit. Jericho pissed me the fuck off. I didn't care for what everybody else was doing. I just went to bed. I just said fuck it. And I fell asleep. So I was like, yeah, I'm done. And that's when I knew that I was done with wrestling. And this is before AEW or anything came out. I didn't really get into New Japan a little bit until about 2016 or 17. And then I kept up with that. And New Japan got some good talent there too, but they don't know what the hell to do with it unless it's not Okada. Ring of Honor, I stopped watching them because WWE purged the hell out of that company with all their stars. They all are in WWE now. And the company's now bought up by another dumbass company. So there's no point in watching Ring of Honor. Let's see here. TNA is non-factor, and that was my ulterior. When I watched TNA, I enjoyed TNA. I really did back in the day, especially when they got Kurt Angle and Joe and AJ, and oh my God, it was perfect for me. Even I watched Wrestling Society X. I was trying to find all I can of wrestling. But yeah, I mean, but once upon a time, wrestling was good. Is it bad today? No, it's still entertaining, but I can't watch it. I can't give that many hours of wrestling. Like, we have more hours of wrestling today, and the wrestling is shittier. And I'm like, where the fuck was this during the Attitude Era? Where the fuck was this in the Ruthless Aggression Era? I mean, I had to search on, I think I had DirecTV at the time for wrestling, so I typed in the word search wrestling. I remember like it was yesterday. And I was looking for something. The wrestling, I think I just told you, Wrestling Society X popped up, TNA popped up. That's how I found TNA. I found TNA not through the internet. I found it through searching wrestling, and then I always recorded it. And then I watched it. I just didn't know. I said, "Ain't that Jeff Jarrett?" And I remember Jeff Jarrett, but I also remember Vince McMahon firing his ass. Double G, double O, double N, E, gone, something like that. He was like, or he didn't say fire, but you were like, "You're not coming back here." But yeah, I enjoy TNA, but back in the day. But yeah, guys, I think I talked long enough on this video. But as always, guys, like, subscribe, peace, Evan Johnson Day, and tell me when you guys stop wrestling. Tell me if you still watching it. As always, peace, and I'll talk to you guys later.